What Putin needs right now is a friend, a powerful friend, someone who can support him financially and militarily. The obvious candidate is China. Reports say Putin has already reached out. Russia wants China to supply military equipment. At first glance, it makes perfect sense. NATO is flooding Ukraine with weapons, so why should Russia not do the same? For starters, the equation is different. Ukraine cannot fend for itself. It needs Western weapons to fight Russia. That's not the case with Putin. His military is far more powerful than Ukraine, so technically he does not need Chinese weapons. He will win with or without them. Also take a look at some numbers. 77% of China's total weapons imports come from Russia. China makes up 18% of Russia's total weapons export. What do these numbers tell you? That China buys from Russia, not the other way around. So we must read these Western reports with some caution. Having said that, would Putin love to get some Chinese weapons? Of course he would. Not because he needs them to win the war, but to solidify his partnership with Beijing. Now, until now, Beijing has taken a cautious approach. They have refused to condemn Russia. At the same time, they're calling for dialogue. They've refused to join Western sanctions. At the same time, they did not back Russia at the United Nations. They abstained. So clearly, there are limits to China's friendship. Military support would suspend those limits. It would signal a fully committed partnership. And the US is trying very hard to prevent that. Let me quote what National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said about China helping Russia. We will not allow that to go forward, he says, and allow there to be a lifeline to Russia from these economic sanctions from any country, anywhere in the world. So Washington is quite clear. If you help Russia, you will face consequences. That is their message to the world. You will be caught in the crossfire. How does China see this threat? As part of America's disinformation campaign, this is what they said.
Recently, the US has been spreading disinformation against China in regards to the Ukraine issue, time after time, with sinister intentions. China's position on the Ukraine issue is consistent and clear, and we have always played a constructive role in persuading peace and promoting talks. It is imperative that all parties exercise restraint, de-escalate tensions rather than exacerbate them, and push for a diplomatic solution rather than further escalating the situation.
It's really a question of priorities. China's vision is clear. They want to compete with the US and eventually they want to beat America. In that context, supporting Russia is a risk. Chinese companies could face sanctions. Their trade with the West could be affected. Is the relationship with Russia worth it? If yes, then China will openly help Vladimir Putin. If not, then China's support will be notional. And it's not just China. Most Russian partners have to take that call, even India. Moscow is offering crude oil at a discount rate for India. Reports say New Delhi is considering the offer. Now, financially, it makes sense. Oil prices are up almost 40% internationally. India's import bill is set to rise by $50 billion in the next fiscal year. So cheaper oil is always welcome. But what about the politics? Will this move alienate the United States? There are no indications so far. In fact, the Pentagon is keen on selling more weapons to India. On Saturday, a top US admiral was testifying before Congress. He was asked a straightforward question. What more can the US do to build a partnership with India? Here's what he replied. Continue the information sharing, continue to support them with the equipment they need upon the line of actual control, and continue to partner and operate together throughout the region. Basically, stay with India. Ideally, it shouldn't matter. Europe is still buying Russian gas, so why shouldn't India buy Russian oil? Surely the rules have to be the same for everyone. Unlike China, India does not have nefarious designs here. It's about staying neutral, buying affordable oil, and consistently demanding a peaceful resolution. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.